My name is Deborah Bordeaux. In this presentation, I will be discussing the literature review. Researchers are often asked, what does the literature say when explaining their topic? What does the phrase the literature mean in this context? Fortunately, it doesn't mean that you'll have to read War and Peace in preparation for this paper. In the annotated bibliography, you found books, scholarly articles, perhaps even trade publications and conference proceedings about your topic. This collection of writings about your topic is referred to as the literature. When some people hear the word review, they think of Amazon.com book reviews or thumbs up, down reviews. A literature review is not that kind of review. Instead, think of it as an overview. The Lit Review discusses the information that has already been published about your topic. It orients the reader to the scholarship that has already been done. Thus, you will look at the progression of thought and research as it currently exists. The literature review is a typical part of any scholarly paper. You will usually find it just after the introduction. Sometimes it is actually part of the introduction. It can also be a standalone assignment, perhaps in a course. The literature review allows the author to set the research in the context of other scholarship about the topic. In the annotated bibliography video, you may have heard me mention research as a conversation. Well, the literature review is a summary of the discussion that has already taken place before wading in yourself. The literature review will summarize, synthesize, and even evaluate the sources, presenting them as a cohesive story about the research. This allows the reader to get up to date before you launch into what you plan to do. It demonstrates your understanding of the topic to the reader, establishing credibility for you as an author. Finally, the literature review helps you to develop your own views of the topic by first seeing what has already been discussed. You begin your literature review by having an appropriate topic for your research study. Because you have already isolated your topic as you composed your annotated bibliography, you are ahead of the game here. Next, find relevant literature about your topic. Again, you began your literature research when you completed the annotated bibliography assignment. However, if you found a large number of sources that were not useful, you may want to continue your search. Remember to stick to scholarly research when possible. Using the Hunt Library search tools are your best bet. Make sure you are reading each article and taking notes. You may start to see connections emerging between your sources. Finally, you'll need to determine which of the sources you found are the most significant for gaining an understanding of how the research about your topic has progressed. One helpful clue is to see who your sources are citing. If they have some commonalities, you will likely want to investigate. Imagine yourself as a storyteller, fashioning a cohesive narrative about your topic. First, of course, you'll want to consider each article, emphasizing its important concepts. Then, weave these discussions together. What categories of thought do you see that you can group together for your reader? How is each work similar to the others that you have selected? How is it different? Do you notice any gaps in the research? Are there disagreements among your authors? Finding these gaps is important, as they allow you to realize, understand, and relate where to go from here. One common problem is that a literature review can read like a collection of mini summaries. Be sure you are making connections and weaving the ideas together. Also, make sure you are keeping up with the citations, both those which will appear in the reference page as well as the in-text citations. Remember to cite everything pulled from a source, even when paraphrasing. Speaking of paraphrasing, you'll want to make sure you are able to put the ideas of the authors in your own words, limiting direct quotations, especially longer block quotations. While it's fine to directly quote an author if he or she says something unique or singular, make sure your literature review is mostly in your own words, demonstrating an understanding of the material. Finally, make sure your literature review is not simply a restatement of your annotated bibliography. Go beyond that assignment to craft something that really shows connections and differences between your sources. Find major ideas that emerge. Organize the literature review by these common concepts into a work that flows nicely throughout the various ideas. In Research 202, the literature review is one part of a larger assignment. It should flow from the problem statement presented in the introduction. It should then lead effectively into a specific research question, ideally based on the gaps or areas for further study you've carefully identified. Use your rubric as a guide when completing the assignment. You'll notice that the rubric demands that you have a clear structure, including a use of APA subheadings where appropriate. You are also expected to make the connections that I have discussed in this presentation. You are given the opportunity to submit a draft of this assignment for comments from your instructor. Seize that opportunity. I hope this presentation has been helpful and leads you to success with the literature review. Be sure to check out the other videos on key concepts and assignments in this course.